Welcome to the Locker, Season 2, Episode 31. I'm a white man, along with, as usual, Van House. What's going on?
Man, I'm excited, man. It's a good day. We're about to have a legend on the show. We're about to have we got to get professional, man, because we be tripping sometimes, but we have someone with some credentials, and we can't be acting. We can't be shacking a fool. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I beg to differ, because if you want professional, you go to KSR or something. Well, no,
That's
you don't look at that. No.
Good point.
You go to ESP. No. You know, you go. Hey, you go to your man. We got lined up. You go to Justin, man.
Yeah.
Hey, and I don't know if you had this in your bag, because the whole time you were off, man, we had great guests on, and everybody was, man, you need to replace Van. You need to have him on there more. I like the way, and not do you come back and say, hey, I need my job. You come back and say, hey, man, my boy about to come on. So you bring the heavy guns. I'll say, hey, I got my boy gonna come on, and he gonna talk with us. So now it ain't really solidifying your job, but that's your connection to him, which means we go. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to get rid of me, then you losing these type of connections.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, he's gonna let me go. So I better come out with a heavy hitter. I can't come out with some run of the mill guy. I need to go, but everybody know him. So then people can be like, okay, they can start DMing you instead of DMing you to get rid of me. They can say, all right, you can hold them for another week and then see what happens. You know, I see the DMs too. You know, I see them too.
Who else Van know? That's what they want. Who else Van know? But yeah, so I mean, we don't want to keep him too long. So we got him in the back room. So without any further ado, Van put together, we can have the Justin ROWLAND on, man.
Wow.
I've already got a few things to say. All right, first off, you're talking professional, and I've got a hostage wall behind me here. Okay, I've got kids tearing up the house on a hostage wall. This isn't professional. The second thing I need to say is you already know how to trigger me talking about KSR. All right, don't bring KSR up to me. And three, I was watching you guys like some of my favorite players growing up. Like I was watching. So this is actually an honor for me. So thank you for having me on.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for coming on, man. And we posted, and some of the big people we follow, the Van and I follow. You got Larry Vault reaching out, Howard Combs, I don't know why, Oscar. Yep. Some people reaching out like, man, hey man, it's gonna be a great show, and I'm like,
right.
I've never talked to the guy. Van's talked to him, but I read his work, and I know where to go to get the answer. So that's why I think people are gonna enjoy what we got here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Let's do it.
I'm gonna say this: Justin should invoice me in 2029, because I DM Justin all the time for some inside information. I appreciate him humoring me and not telling me get the hell up out of my DMs and give him some good info. I appreciate that, Justin.
I do tell some people no. So I wasn't about to tell you guys that, but I tell some people no. Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that. So we're gonna start with this, Justin, since we all know who you are. But I have a question for him. Are you trying to have a basketball team? Are you going for a baseball team? Or are you gonna hit the home run and go for the football team?
We already got a basketball team, and I'm 35, so I'm still going, man. I'm not. Everybody asks how many of you guys are gonna have, and I don't know. Like I haven't regretted one yet. This is my posterity. This is my heritage, my progeny. Like who am I to say no? We're done. I don't know. Maybe we'll stop at a football team, but we're not. We might not be done yet.
So I should ask your wife though, because you got the easy job. I should ask her. When is she ready to call it quits? Is she gonna have a lacrosse team, soccer team?
I was an only child, so this is all like every day Like I'm banging my head into. I love them, but I'm banging my head through the wall. And she came from a big family, so she's the one that she pushed that, and I was like, okay, let's do it. And she's on board with it. But it is crazy. There's no doubt about that.
Wow, you definitely got your unicorn there.
Yeah.
She's pressuring you. Let's go, Justin. Let's go. We got to shoot for 6. You're shooting for 6. Go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. I got a question.
Yeah.
This whole time, I'm trying to figure out, like, what is he talking about? Is he talking about more sports writing and more reporting? Man, y'all not talking about what I think y'all talking about.
More humans. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, well, I'm gonna leave that to y'all, man. I've been practicing for a while, man. I just ain't good at final product, but
we got 5.
I was lost. I was completely lost.
No, now you know.
What's the age range, Justin? What's the age range?
10, 9, 7, 4, and 2. So all of them are between 2 and 10. Wow. And it's as crazy as it sounds. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody else, but once they're here, you gotta step up. So there's no alternative for them. So yep.
Well, all I gotta say is Justin doesn't only practice well; he's clutch. That's clutch shooting right there, boy. That's on point. He's Steph Curry.
I'm liking the comments. I'm laughing about the comments. I might not read them out, but I'm laughing about them. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. On that whole subject, and we can get to the business we came here for. My mother. I talked to my mother the past weekend because it was my birthday, and I think she's worried about me getting older. And she said, "Why don't you have kids?" And I told her, I said, "I don't know if I want kids." And she was like, "Oh, I've been a great uncle to my niece and nephews. I'm a mentor to a lot of kids." And I said, "But my own, like I like my personal time." And she said, "We need to have kids." I said, "Mom," and exactly what you guys just said. I said, "Mom, I can't have a kid and decide, you know what? I don't like this parenting thing. You know what? I don't want to do this anymore." So that's the holdup. That if it don't go the way I expect it to, there ain't no go back.
And so that's a wise approach, because once you're here, that personal time, you really got to work to carve it out. It doesn't just fall out on a platter. You got to work for it. And I work for it. A lot of mowing the lawn when it doesn't need to be mowed. A lot of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I figured that out too. And my dad, I was wondering why my dad was always outside. He was always fixing the car. He was always mowing the yard. And then when I got old, he's like, "Man, that was my free time. that was my time away." And you wonder why it took, because our yard wasn't that big. You wonder why it took 2 hours to mow that little piece of yard we got.
It took me 3 kids to figure out that if I get them hooked on taking a nap with me every day, I've always got an excuse to take a nap every single day. So it works. Yeah.
Yep. You winning. Winning.
I love it, man. I love it.
So let's get to what all the people really came in here to watch. And my question to you, Justin, the recruiting guru that you are, is can you highlight a point where, or what year that you saw the perception of the brand of Kentucky football changing, and when the kids that you interviewed really took us seriously?
Well, I think there were 2 I don't know the word for it. There were 2 moments that have really stood out. And the first was actually before they started to win, before perceptions were changing in terms of wins loss column. Back in 2013, going into that 2014 class, they had the number 1 class according to Rivals on paper going into September. So several months. Think about how excited people are now to have a top 10 class in May? To be number 1 in the country. I think they just passed Texas in September. I mean, they hit on all their big guys, and that was a shock for me, because I honestly, I never thought that was even possible. I didn't think Kentucky was capable of recruiting like that. I literally didn't think it was possible. And then more recently, after they went 10-3, that year in 2018, when you beat Florida, when you beat Mississippi State, when you beat Penn State, when you beat those that's what it's all about, is winning games that make people turn their head and look. That was another big moment. I think that's carried them for a little while now.
Interesting.
Yep.
So do you feel like that this draft because I tweeted this out the other day, is like, we have had drafts. People don't understand that Kentucky has had, back in 94, 95, Melvin Johnson went in the second round. It's not like we have not had high draft pick. And I think Mo went that same year in the third round. It's not that we have not had good draft picks, but we have never, you tell me if I'm wrong, have we ever had a first and a second round in the modern day history of UK? And that alone is, how much is that going to help this 2022 class?
I don't think they have in the modern history. I remember looking it up, and I think sometime in the 50s or the 60s or the 70s, they had a first round, a second round, maybe even three in those first two rounds, but nothing like that recently. And now that you mention it, maybe that the bump after the 2018 season was more about the draft than about going 10-3, or maybe it was the two of those things in tandem, because we all know, this is what these guys are basing their decisions about their future on, and they got to see you produce. There were a few years when they weren't putting guys into the draft, even under Stoops. It took them a little while to get it going, and then once you break through and you say, look, I mean, we're putting as many guys into the combine on average as almost anybody, and we're top 10, top 15 in draft picks over the last 3 years. Well, that becomes a very convincing case, especially when you're talking to kids who are in Big Ten country or in the Midwest. And yeah, they're on a level that I probably sold them short. I didn't think they could build a brand like this.
No, I go ahead, Ant.
No, I was going to ask you. I don't know if Van. I think Van was on the wagon too. 7, 8 years ago, where being sandwiched between Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio. I didn't know it was even possible. To up your recruiting. And I did know, I don't know if you know this, Justin, or not, you in the locker, so you get asked some stuff that may tarnish your professional career, so feel free to not answer it.
I reserve the right to be hard of hearing temporarily. Yeah, go ahead.
That's that 5 kids and that husband here.
What's that? I gotta go. No. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, but facts are essential here.
Yeah.
Like, facts are not optional here. So if it's not a fact, we don't want our people. I thought you might appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, so Van. I didn't think we could get the people, but I heard at a certain point. I don't know if the people on the staff were actually making the effort that believed in getting the guys at Kentucky. That and I think in Joker's years, Stoops maybe first year. Now you got Summerall out there, clean scale, Stewart, Vince, Slarman, rest. Everybody's out there knocking on every door. Like, we want you to come play with us. I heard at one point that there were people that wasn't actually going knocking on doors. Yeah, they were taking the plane trip. They were going to the city, but I'm not sure if they were knocking on doors. So,
I know where you're coming from with that question. And I know T. Martin. He used to be an assistant at Kentucky, and I have a lot of respect for T, and I think he's a very good recruiter, especially down in that Mobile area. But he would tell me, and I was younger then, so I was still learning about it. And he would say, I'm recruiting to beat out Mississippi State and Ole Miss and maybe South Carolina. This is when South Carolina's brand was a lot better than it was. But he was conceding, I'm not going down there and beating Auburn out for a kid. And I'm not saying that to criticize him, because I don't think Kentucky's brand at that point allowed them to do that. They hadn't had the facility renovations. They hadn't started putting together on the field. The perception of them in the South was just not very good. And he was conceding, I'm going down there trying to beat out Mississippi State for a couple of kids. That's a very different thing than beating out some schools for Trevin Wallace and Justin Rogers. And I don't think they could have done that back then, but you do have to try. And it's a game that you got to play. You got to recruit some guys knowing there's a chance Alabama's just going to swoop in and take them. But you got to stay in the game and stay in the game and stay in the game. And maybe Auburn has a coaching change. And maybe that kid doesn't know the new guys that come into Auburn. And maybe Georgia's got a couple of guys committed at that position, and the chips fall just the right way. And that's the game you got to play at Kentucky. At Alabama, the game you got to play is this guy or that guy really better? Now we're going to pick him. At South Alabama, the game is we got to find the guys that aren't quite good enough to go Power 5, but are better than the other G5 guys. And at Kentucky, it's that sandwich again. We don't want to be recruiting against Vanderbilt too much,
Right.
We're not going to beat out Alabama a lot, but we gotta find the guys who are in that in between zone that that can still improve us as a program, but we don't really know how it's going to play out yet.
I'm not typically surprised, but the way you put that, I always wonder how could because Anwar Stewart is great on recruiting, man. He's knocking on all the doors. He's been here. He knows what it takes to line up with next to somebody that's gonna go get the deal. But the way you put it actually made sense to me. I spent a small time in sales. If you knock on the door, and I've heard some guys have been sitting in the lobby, then Knicks or Alabama come in, Florida come in, and the ADs at the high schools will move them ahead, and now you got to wait until they're done. They could be an hour or so. So I've never thought about that aspect of, it could get hard trying to recruit in the SEC when you're going in the Southeast, just in the Southeast, Georgia, Florida, Texas, just down in those areas, knowing that I'm trying to sell you on Kentucky when we got guys here just trying to sell you on Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida.
Yeah. Everybody, when they're interviewing for an assistant coaching job, the head coach, Tommy Tuberville, I remember reading Tommy Tuberville one time, says, every time I've had to fire a coach, it's been because he hasn't gotten dudes. Like, I can find somebody who can coach. I can't not everybody can go get the guys. And everybody knows that going in, but not everybody is going to grind like that. It's just, you kind of have to be a little crazy about it, where, you're sitting around the dinner table with your wife or with your the head coach or whatever you've got going on with your buddies, and some 16-year-old kid calls you and wants to talk. Now, are you going to be the coach that's like, okay, I'll call him back, and maybe you call him back tomorrow? Or are you going to be the kind of coach what you're doing and pisses everybody off around you and goes to talk to somebody and their dad for an hour? Right. I'm honestly not that kind of guy a lot, but the best coaches, the best recruiters are that kind of guy. So it's gotta be in your blood a little bit, and that's not the case for everybody.
Have you ever seen any of these guys? You ever seen Vince do his thing?
Oh yeah. Every year I'm at the camps there, and so they're the official visitors, and you see them on the golf cart bringing guys around, and it's not as glamorous as people think it is. They think it's about making these social media graphics and blasting it out, and this almost like this grand strategy game. And there is that. They have those conversations, but it's really about rolling up your sleeves and putting in the work and finding out what buttons to push with every kid. Okay, what's his relationship with his mom like, with his dad like, with his stepdad like, with his coach? Who's the right guy the angle to work in this situation? And if you have that people instinct, you can be really good at it. And Vince is, and Klink is, and Sumrall is, and Eric Wolford is, and those are the four that I would say are real slam dunk recruiters. And I don't remember Kentucky ever having maybe more than one of them, but they've got four that I think are really good. I might put Anwar in that conversation too, because I think there are signs that Anwar could move up into that tier as well.
Oh, when you get to see what he does, I'm sitting next to him. We ride down the road, and man, I'm sitting there with a former Wildcat, man, and you get to talking to the parents, man. The parents love them, man. When you coming back to see us, man? We cooking. They love him. And no matter where he's at, he's answering the phone. I gotta shut up. I gotta turn the TV off. We gotta stop doing what we're doing. But he always makes time for any of them. Like I don't even know the name of the recruits sometimes, but I gotta he has to make time for them. I wanted to ask you this though. We had Vince on Sunday. It didn't surprise me, because AJ Rose is up from where I'm from. He actually played against my nephew up in Northeast Ohio. And Vince said this, and I didn't think about this. Did you see a turning point? Did you have any idea that AJ Rose was a bigger get? I guess in more words, less is what Vince said. AJ Rose was a bigger get at that point in time than Benny was. Benny was just a workhorse and just grinded out and just made it hard to keep him off the field. Did you ever see that coming? Or are you on board with that? That AJ probably was a bigger recruit in that class.
AJ was a bigger. I mean, he was a bigger. They were ranked about the same, but I remember the conversations as they were going on. And are they going to take this guy? Are we going to take this guy? And they were sold about AJ. I think based on the conversations I had, I think Stoops really liked Benny. But there was a question about Benny's speed, and I would joke with Benny about this. Like, I swear he got faster. Because you watch his high school film, I don't think he really looked that fast. I really don't think he did. But, at Kentucky, he was one of those guys who would never test probably off the charts. But if you put him, in a helmet and pads, he could get that extra juice when he needed to. And but there was a time, I remember one conversation, I'm not going to say who with, that I heard Benny was maybe listening to another school, maybe Iowa was thinking about making a push or some school like that. And the reaction from somebody at Kentucky was like, well, we're not going to be real patient with that. We're not going to tolerate a whole lot of him flirting with these other schools. Wow. But there was nothing more beyond that. But that just goes to show not a whole lot of guys are able to do whatever they want. Everybody's in a pinch. You can't overplay your hand because you will lose that spot. And fortunately for both of them, that didn't happen with Benny.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So speaking of that, so Timmy, going back, who was the biggest, I guess, the change of perception for the recruits? Was that the Bud Dupree, that Darius year, or the Josh Allen year?
Well, I think it was the facilities more than anything, right off the bat. You gotta, I mean, a few things led to that early recruiting. Every staff, when they come in, gets a grace period. You can tell kids, that's what Rutgers is doing. It's Rutgers. Yeah. They're saying, we're going to go win a national championship. Well, they're not running on their resume. They're running on hopes and dreams and promises. Right. And frankly, there's a lot of kids out there, they're going to believe anything you tell them if you build a relationship with them. And that you got to be honest in the long run, but when you come in as a staff, you can really run on just hopes and dreams. But they also had the facilities coming up, and they had the air raid offense that they were selling. We're going to do this, and then they got Drew Barker. You got the quarterback that comes in. You got Boom Williams, who was the number one all-purpose running back at the time, and the SEC at that point had won something like 7 national championships in a row. So the league's pitch was never strong. It was a convergence of factors early on. But one player that I would say that really did it was Josh Allen. That was later. I mean, there's no question. They've sold every linebacker they've recruited ever since, probably. You're going to be the next Josh Allen. But, everybody does that. So, yeah.
So if you watch Sunday morning sports talk or listen to Sunday morning sports talk, and that was the big buzz just in local media of, well, they need a recruit room. Now, Van and I were both recruited here. And we were both on recruiting visits where all of their damn recruits came in on one weekend.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It was 60-some, 60 people. We took like 3 or 4 buses every location. And I don't know what they were telling each other, but the only thing I didn't like, there was a lot of dudes from Florida who had played against each other, and they were playing football in the summer. And I was just kind of like, I mean, not in the summer. They were playing football in the winter, and they had like jamborees, and I didn't know what a jamboree was. And it just made me uncomfortable because I felt like the Florida guys had clicked up, and there was very little Ohio guys there. But the fact of what you just said about the facilities, I know we had an ongoing joke on Sunday mornings that there was once you get the recruit room, we're going to get them. You think it was that big of a push, or you think that was that big of influence?
I think it's big. I mean, I don't think the facilities get the guy for you, but I think the facilities determine whether you can make the cut. They determine whether you're going to be in the conversation. Because if these guys are all on bus tours. And, and they're all going from one school to the next. And so if they hit Tennessee and Georgia and Arkansas, and then they swing up to Kentucky, and you haven't renovated your facilities in 25 years, that's going to look really bad, because it's not just going to speak to what locker you're going to have or where you're going to be walking around or eating. It's like, what's the commitment of this administration really to football, and frankly, it's a prestige thing. And yeah. It sounds like you've got something to say about that.
No, you know what's crazy with this whole facility thing? I'll never forget. I had an unofficial visit to Bama. I had a visit to Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I went to Arkansas. This was in 92, 93. We had the best facility.
Really?
All of those guys. It wasn't even close.
Huh.
And we didn't get anybody. So it's kind of interesting that you said the facilities were big, because that not a facility. That weight room that we had in 93 was much. Bama was like, it was so far apart. You had to ride a bus or somehow get to the facility. It's like on the other side of campus. I don't know how it is now. Ole Miss was small. Arkansas was just building a facility. Mississippi State was in Starkville. So we had the best facility. Yeah. Seriously, it wasn't even close.
Wow.
Yeah, the facility thing is a little more complicated because usually it's when a coach is really getting it going. Like I lived in North Carolina growing up the first time Mac Brown was there, and they were just building their facilities up, and it might not have been so much the facilities, the fact that he was already generating some momentum for the program. But yeah, you talked about the bus tours of Florida prospects. You see that every year. I mean, you got, okay, here's the Kentucky guys from Ohio, the guys they want from Tennessee. And then here's the Beach Boys from Deerfield Beach, or here's, this other 7-on-7 team, South Florida Express. And there's like 25 dudes and they all look like they're ready to play college football. And they've got the attitude. And I'm not going to name the college player, but there's an offensive lineman at Kentucky who was taking this verbal abuse from this kid, this little receiver who didn't look like an athlete at all. And he's like, you're a highly ranked lineman. I'm 10 times the prospect you are. And it was cringe, man. Like all the guys like me were watching this as like, who is this little kid bad mouthing this future Kentucky offensive lineman? Turns out this kid is Troy Stellato, and he commits to Clemson. So I guess he was right. But those South Florida guys, they come in with attitude. You just can't get fazed by that. If they're not your guys, you just kind of got to let them do the camp and just focus on your dudes, because you got to know who you're really going to get and who's the right fit.
JR, I'm gonna ask you this, man.
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable because I don't know you very well.
You'll know me after this. Yeah.
So it was either Landon Young or Drake Jackson. One of them, I can't remember which one. And the SEC coach tells them, well, if Kentucky is recruiting you and you're thinking about that, we don't want you. Wow. Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
Kentucky said this. Kentucky, whether they said it or not, they felt the same way about Gavin Wimsatt and Rutgers. And it was, if he's going to Rutgers, why is he afraid of competition? Wow. I guarantee you that's a common sentiment. And it's based on, it's kind of a psychological coping kind of thing, but it's also a trick that you play. The reason that Kentucky was rumored to be involved with this guy from Oklahoma for the offensive coordinator position. And I learned he was best known for recruiting Adrian Peterson. The reason he got Adrian Peterson as Oklahoma was he told him, he's like, you can either come to Oklahoma and win a national championship, or you can go to this other school and we'll beat you. And, Peterson liked it, and that pitch worked. And so sometimes that bravado, that they sense that confidence and they like it. But yeah, I mean, that was a pretty harsh, that negative recruiting works on a lot of kids, but it was never going to work on Drake or Landon because they were Kentucky, all the way.
I was trying to find out.
Hold on. Let me say, Justin, we bumping up against your time, man. I just want to make sure you're all good.
I got a couple more minutes. Yeah. All
right, go ahead, Ant.
No, I was trying to find out which coaches said that. That was on an article I read. I was trying to get who the coach was. I what you do. You just avoided. My whole point was, which coach do you think said it, or do you know?
What coach do I think said it? Well, I'm thinking back, and I know that Alabama, Ohio State were some of the schools that were kind of sniffing around those guys. And that sounds like something a coach at Alabama or Ohio State would say, That's true. Only those guys can get away with saying something like that.
That's true.
I thought it was maybe Ohio State, and there was another one. I didn't think it was Alabama. I thought it was Ohio State. There's another coach in the mix. Was it Ole Miss, maybe? No. No,
I don't remember Ole Miss being too big with them. Auburn a little bit with Landon, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Man, I lost my train of thought.
I'll get you one answer since I'm gonna let you think about it.
I have my second question.
So Justin, with this class coming up, someone tweeted this out yesterday or the day before, and I said our floor is probably 8 of guys getting drafted next year off of this class, of this next class. what would your floor be of the amount of guys that will get picked up next year in the NFL draft?
I was thinking about this today. I saw Freddie tweeted 6 to 8. I'm Kennard. I'm doing this as I'm typing it out so I don't double up. Kennard, Rodriguez, Corker, Pascal, and McCall are the 5 that you got to be confident about.
Yep. And
then after those 2, does Josh Ali have a great season and sneak in as a late pick? I don't know what he's going to look like in a real offense. Is Wandale going to be ready to be a one and done guy? Could he come out right away? That's another variable. Luke Fortner, I don't think a lot of people think about him in quite the same way they thought about Drake or Landon, but just a steady, reliable player. Wouldn't rule that out. Wouldn't rule Justin Rigg out. Wouldn't rule Keaton Upshaw coming out a year early.
Ding, ding, ding.
If he has a great season under Cohen. But I think the 5 that it's a high floor, like you said. I would be surprised if any of Kennard, Rodriguez, Pascal, McCall, and Corker were not drafted. So it should be another good year.
Well, what's your thoughts on Jordan Wright? That was my sleeper last year, and to me, he's the Jamin Davis of this year. He's got unbelievable body. He's got all the physical tools. If he puts together a 9, 10, 11 sack year, could he come out and be a 4th, 3rd round pick?
Well, he could. Yeah, I mean, if he gets 9 or 10 sacks, yeah, he'll definitely. I mean, I'll be very surprised if he's not drafted. Brad White told me last year, because I was interviewing him before last spring practice, and I was like, would you say that Jordan Wright is a playmaker who needs to become more consistent? And he's like, yes, but he is more physical than people think he is. Yeah. They say he plays more physical than people think, but he still has to be very attentive to the little things. But he's been a great playmaker. I mean, he's always around the ball, and he closes fast. I don't know if he's a 10 sack guy though. I don't know if he's shown he can get upfield and turn that edge and bend like a sack guy. Like, I don't know if that's who he is, but we'll see.
Well, he's gonna have to, because if they go this small package and put Vito in the field or whomever, he's gonna have to be the Josh Allen. He's gonna have to be that boundary rush in and dropping coverage every now and then like they did Pascal. But he's gonna get his chances. The way the league is now, the throwing 30 plus times a game, he's going to get his chances.
Well, he's not the issue. Edge defender is the number one problem area going into the season this year, because they didn't rush the passer well last year, and Brad White was embarrassed about it because that's his responsibility. Right. And he would tell you he's embarrassed. It wasn't his standard. Jordan's going to be a good player. The issue is KD McDaniel is the starter opposite him right now, and he's really got to get in the playbook. Like, he's got to master that playbook, because he's got the tools to be a great edge rusher. Okay. But he has to put it all together. Sometimes when you put him on the field, the light hasn't come on yet. And for him to be the number 2 edge rusher that you got, a starter, I think you'd feel better if he was the 3 or 4 without having proven it yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Real quick, this is something that's been coming up, and I've heard consistently one way now, but before spring ended, I've heard consistently another way. What the hell is going on in the quarterback room? I have heard that Bo has pretty much lost that battle coming out of the spring. And what are you hearing about the opportunity for Levis to come in and actually get an opportunity just from summer to fall with no live bullets flying? Because a lot of people look good when it ain't live ammo. And then even in the fall preseason practice, you're not trying to kill your teammates because we got a season to play in a couple minutes.
That's with you. That's where my head's at too. Like, I think Joey and Will are the 2 that wouldn't surprise me if either one of those guys were the starter. I would be a little surprised if Bo was the starter this year, not in the long term, but there's been a lot of chatter about Joey this spring. I think they are pleased with how he played. I think they found a way to bring out some of his best qualities. And it's not uncommon for these guys with prospect pedigree, Andre Woodson, to have the light come on after they've had a couple of disappointing seasons. What's taken so long? Bam, the light comes on. But the one thing we know, Cohen has been very guarded, saying it's not a competition. This is an install. The competition's in the summer. The one thing we know for certain is that Cohen likes Levis. Yes. You know, that's the only thing we know. You know, that was his guy that he handpicked, and he liked him before he was even out of Penn State. So, but he's never put it together yet. You know, he looks great in practice videos, but that's very different than doing it when somebody's bearing down in your face. Right. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was Joey. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Will.
Here, I got one other question. They told me we were on a time crunch with you, so I do need to ask this. So we almost cover all positions, and if you got to go, let us know. If you got a little time,
I'll take one more. Yeah.
The running back room, I've heard about Wright. Is it going to be what we saw last year? I don't think Smoke wowed a lot of people coming out of last year. We know Chris is going to do what he's going to do. I like Juton.
Yep.
Isdale never really got an opportunity, but but I've heard a lot about Wright coming out of spring. Is there any shakeup in the running back room, or is it still probably Chris, Smoke, Juton, or are you expecting any shakeup?
I mean, the thing about Smoke is I think in the Auburn game, the first game of the season, he had that touchdown run where he kind of tiptoed inside the pylon, and he does some things that nobody else can do. But he gets hit 5 times, and you just don't know what you're going to get from him after that. So, I hate saying that, but he's got to prove that the durability is going to be there.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Juton was second on the team in rushing. I mean, people are talking him up big time, and not just when Gran was there. When Cohen's there. So he's doing really well. And Lavelle Wright, I didn't know what to expect from him, but I've heard one person told me he almost looked like a little mini Eddie George in practices that people were able to go to. And that's a high bar, but just in terms of playing style, he's a bigger guy who's built upright, and he's got good feet and he's got good hands. And that's a unique combination for a guy coming in from high school. So I wouldn't be surprised if McLean and Wright get a bunch of playing time this year, but Smoke has to prove he's durable. So, but the biggest change is I think C-Rod will be the far and away clear-cut number 1, and I don't think that's happened yet, but the way they're talking, I think he's going to get 25.
I'm going to say this from what I hear. Them boys from Radcliffe, right? They come in this thing with some intelligence, a high football IQ, and I've heard that Wright is in that playbook, and he's far ahead than some of these veterans. So
Oxendine, same way. He came in, he was a sponge, he's a smart kid, he's a good kid, and I was surprised to see him down to 295. I didn't think he would get that thin, but I guess he's not going to be a nose. He's going to be a D tackle, DN kind of player.
Interesting
for him. Yeah.
All right, well, Justin, man, we appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you guys.
Real quick, man, because you are one of the best at what you do. And, the people that follow us and, even our playing careers, you're still one of the best at doing it. Where can people catch any of your work at real quick? And we're going to get you off here. We just want to make sure you get the opportunity to know where to follow you after this.
Appreciate that. Rolling Rivals on Twitter, but Twitter doesn't pay my bills. So Catsillustrated.com, and we got a free trial going on. So I'd appreciate that. And let's do it again, guys. I've enjoyed it.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Man, I appreciate you, man. We'll definitely have you back on whenever you're ready.
For sure. Take care, guys.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, let me tell you guys something. I don't subscribe to Jack. I hold my money tighter than I hold my wife. let me tell you that. I hold on to my money. That is something I don't know. I've never met Justin, honestly. We have talked, but I've never met him face to face. I got him on Twitter, and I saw the stuff that he was posting. I had to follow Rivals Catsillustrated. It is a must follow. There's some tidbits in there. I'm not going to give it to you because I had to pay money for it. But there are some tidbits in there, man, that gets you right. It gets you excited. It's a must follow, man. I'm going to tell you. It's worth I can't even remember. It's pennies. It's worth the money.
You might as well go and get that free trial. And what we got coming in football, if you want to be up to date, because you and I have both heard, man, Bo's NFL material. He's the next Tim Couch. But we've also heard that Joey Gatewood is And now piggyback this season we could, people aren't putting enough emphasis on this season is predicated off that quarterback position.
Big.
If we had that same bullshit quarterback play we done had for the past, I can't call Lynn's quarterback play bad, but it really wasn't quarterback play. So if we don't produce, then our draft picks go down because the defense is going to be on the field too much. You have to use too many plays or whatever. Right. So that's something to keep an eye on, and he's right on top of it. And the other thing is that hoop game. The season we had a hoop, everybody interested to what's about to happen next on hoop, man. So
that is true.
Hey, you got to go give him a listen, man. You got to go check him out. $9.99 a month.
That's what it is. It's pennies, man. And if you buy the annual, it's a little cheaper. I made the one-time payment, and dude, I'm telling you, I get some stuff on there that is inside information. Like I'm gonna tell you, this is DB Alex. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Afari, 4-star DB. They have some updates. Sign that free subscription and get these updates, man, because it's exciting news, man. There's nothing, and I'm biased. No, I'm biased for the corners. I'm biased for the DBs. There's nothing better than seeing a kid a corner highlight where he's a true corner, where he is not just a one-dimensional corner, a true corner with some length, with some aggressiveness. Like I told y'all about Kevin Joseph. I seen the kid play. The kid is unbelievably aggressive and long. Now, I know there's some things that happened last year that people didn't like, but I told you guys 2 years ago, he's a dog. Sometimes dogs need a short leash.
Yeah.
We might have gave him too long a leash, but dude. And from what I've seen this kid, now I didn't see him face, like I like to see a guy with my own two eyes, really. I'm not going to see everybody, but from what I saw the highlight, I'm like, this kid can ball.
Yeah. No, like I said, man, I enjoyed okay.
I think it's Catsillustrated.com, I think.
Louis. Catsillustrated.com, I'm pretty sure the website. So yeah, man, like I said, go over there and follow him, man. And dude's on top of stuff, man. He know the same stuff I know, so it's kind of he get the inside scoop. The difference is I gotta pull teeth, right? I gotta wine and dine. I gotta smooth people. They go right to people like Justin and kind of give them the information or whatever. But no, he's well informed.
Yeah, man. So this football season, dude, I can't wait, man. It's like it's on countdown already, man.
Yeah, dude. Man. But the only thing when I stick my neck out for the team, man, they do me like they did last year, man. It kind of pissed me off, but I do think this year is going to be it. The only thing is there's such a huge fucking question at quarterback, man.
See, here's the deal, though. Here's the difference with this shit, though, man. Here's the thing with this shit, though. Oh, snap. Don't be teasing us, man. Don't be teasing us with this, man. Hey, Stu ain't coming on here next week, man.
You got breaking news.
That's Anwar Stewart fan page. That ain't the real man. Look, man, this is what I'm going to say about the difference between this year and previous years, right? Is let's say Joey Gatewood is the starter. Let's just go with that. All right. And let's say he doesn't perform. Right. We got Will, right? And if Will don't perform, we got Bo. If not one of them can do it, now we're in trouble. We got 3 starters potentially, right? We got 3 guys who, from what everybody says, can play. So if they 3 can play, one of them's got to come in and grab the reins and take us to the promised land. We have 3, not just one. We ain't relying on one guy now. We have 3.
I absolutely agree with you. I just I just think my only question is, man, we both been on teams where you expected this to happen, and your senior year, we had a guy that we thought was going to be in. Now, mind you, we had a bunch of young talent behind him, which we kind of do now. And it's kind of like, man, this dude, so you tried it, and that's my concern is not that they can't do the job. If you throw somebody, we may not have Trask. We may not have Teddy Bridgewater or Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Or it seems like we always, whenever we, or you know what? One thing I've been saying here, and I don't know if people been picking up nuggets, y'all listen to Justin, everything he tell y'all. But I'm telling you, I think our quarterback coach wasn't shit.
All right, ding, 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 so, ding, 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 ding. Read the bag.
If you put somebody in there, like we gotta, get through this season. We're working on an off season. No, like you preparing the whole quarterback room. They all get the same lesson. Okay, if they're not working on their reads or whatnot, it'll show up. But that's where I'm saying, like you're saying, I know we have 3, but if you put one in and he ain't been getting reps,
well, look,
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. That's just the way we've been doing things lately. It seems like if we have a change in that position, we got to wait till next year to really give them some work, the offseason to give them some work.
And we've been both saying this, and on this show, we just say how it is. You can tell from what I've seen of the spring practices that as much as we can see, they've been coached up. It is. There's no hesitation for them releasing that ball. We both said, you said it a lot because I was trying to defend T-Dub. Why is he not throwing the ball? Why is he not throwing the ball? Why is he not throwing the ball? He should be throwing it. It's purely the Joey Gatewood from last year. And it wasn't Joey Gatewood that come in like Will's coming in the summer. Joey came in the spring, I thought. Did he not?
Yeah.
Joey came in the spring. So he had a whole spring football. Well, I guess they had a COVID year. He had some practices. He had summer, he had fall. The way he looks now, in the last game he played, wasn't no difference from the first game he
played. Right. Yep. Absolutely.
When he came in Missouri, it was no different than when he played against Bama. It was the same exact thing. When I saw the spring football clips, that ain't the same Joey that I saw against Alabama. It ain't the same Joey I saw when he started against Missouri. It ain't the same Joey. Now, you cannot tell me it was just 2 or 3 months of him just maturing as an individual that was that difference. It was those 2 or 3 months of him getting the coaching. I thought he played against Bama. I thought he played before Bo. You're right. Nope, you're right. It was Georgia. He started against Georgia and came in against Missouri. I'm sorry. You're right, JD. I'm wrong. So, dude, when you're getting the little – people don't understand is when you're on that level, it doesn't take much. You're already an elite athlete. You're already come with all these credentials. All you need is a little tweak here and there, or a little bit of information, or a little bit, okay, look at this. Oh, coach, now I get it. Especially at that position.
I love to stand behind the huddles, and I used to do that with Tim now. Hey, what were you looking at here? They did with any quarterback, Tim, Matt Mummy, Dusty Bonner, and Mike Scipion. Well, what were you looking at? Oh, I thought the safety was rolling over, so I just came underneath. Okay, yeah, but the backer was sitting there. So I love that conversation. I said that every Sunday morning. We watch the film. The one thing I can't understand, how in the hell can you say we couldn't throw the ball? I'm not saying we couldn't throw it like the guy wasn't going to be open. Like you cannot literally take the ball out of your hand and remove it from your hand. If you throw a fade route, it's 50-50 chance that it's going to be knocked out of bounds or dropped.
Right.
unless you throw it in the field of play.
Right.
The sideline is either they gonna catch it or it's out of bounds.
Right.
And you said we not even throwing it. So
Right.
I'm saying, so y'all going in film room, y'all are watching this film. Well, look right there. Is he open? Like, are you not doing? I don't know what they were doing I don't know what they were doing in practice, but we both agree. And what I've been hearing is that's what Liam and them guys are doing is like, soon as you turn it, the ball is snapped, your first look is there. If this happens, then this. If this happens, then this. If this happens, then this. For about 5 progressions. And I'm cool if you can't get to 5 progressions at this point. Right. I'm cool if you can get to two comfortably. Right. If you can get to 2 comfortably, right, and maybe start looking at 3, but still be a little itchy, a little bit antsy, I'm fine with that. But I'm saying if we looking at 1 and I can't tell what's going on, and I know you can't tell what's going on, something ain't being taught, man.
And this is what's so bad about this, though. And I've heard people say things like the offense is this and that. The RPO offense is about as elementary as you can get. You're reading one guy. You go in here or there. It ain't no smoke and mirrors to it.
Yeah. If
the linebacker comes up, if the RPO, you pulling it and you're throwing right behind them.
Right.
You hear the NFL analysts talk about, oh, well, the RPO is so simple, they're not really reading defenses. It doesn't translate to the next level. How can our guys read the simple damn RPO? How can our guys not read the simple as RPO? Dude, you're reading one. You're not reading a coverage. You're reading a guy.
Right.
They can be running cover 4. They can be running cover 7. They can be running cover 2. They can be running whatever the hell they want to. You're reading that damn play side linebacker. What is he doing? Or on the read option, you reading it down backside in. Is he crashing down or not? That's simple. And we could not get it done consistently.
Yeah, and that was the thing that threw me off, man. And I wanted to see what he like I said, what he had going on the basketball front. But like JD said, I guess that's gonna be on the website. So Catsillustrated gonna let you know what's going on. Did we ink the deal with O today? Somebody was saying we inked the deal with Orlando.
I've heard that they both coming. Louis, let me tell you something. Since they're gone, I can say stuff now. I don't have no inside information. I'm not in the room. I'm not in Kentucky, so I don't get all the scoops. But I'm going to tell you one thing. The development of the quarterbacks from when they entered to when they left, that's a direct reflection of your position coach. And not one guy got better. I'm going to just say that. Not one guy got better. And the problem for me is I'm a play caller, right? And the bad thing about Grand, so to speak, is he's a running back coach, right? He's not a quarterback guru. So he has to trust his quarterback coach because that's not what he coached. That's not what he's known for. Grant was a running back coach. So he's got to trust his quarterback coach. Now, do you not think that affects the way he calls games too? Because he sees on the practice field, my quarterbacks ain't getting it. So how am I going to call XYZ play when if they run XYZ defense, we might be in trouble? So Grant's conservative play calling to me is a direct reflection of Henshaw. Because I say this over again. I've been saying this since Grant been here. I looked at Cincinnati's tape. He did not call games at Cincinnati like he called it here. I'm just going to be honest. You think about it, what is it? It's quarterback play. If I don't have confidence in a guy who touches the ball every freaking play, the only guy on the football team besides the center who touches the ball on every snap, if I can't really trust him because I ain't got the trust that he sees things like I see him, because he's not getting coached up to see the things like he should see him in in that amount of time, it's going to be difficult for me to call certain plays.
And I think the other thing you kind of gotta put the same. I'm 1,000% with you that the quarterbacks didn't get any better over the time they were there. And I if you want to do your own research, I challenge you to do this. Look at the quarterback over the last 4 or 5 years. Tell me where you seen any. Like, oh man, you know what? And I say this. You say whatever you want about Joker Phillips. I remember watching Andre Wilson Young and Chris Ford was like, man, that dude gonna be nice. I was like, man, he throw the ball anywhere. Man, 2 years later, man, I'm like,
yeah, right.
Just dropping dimes
everywhere.
Dropping dimes everywhere. So you can tell they going, but I also know, and you and I both have seen, I also know that if you're a coordinator or you got a relationship with somebody, and I think Stoops maybe could have gave Grant another year, but I think if he'd have gave Grant another year, he wouldn't have been able to bring Henshaw with him.
Ding,
so I think it's a loyalty all around, but I've seen a lot of coaches lose jobs over loyalty to another coach on the staff with them.
Right. I'm gonna just say this about Joker. Joker could call a damn game. You can say everybody can have an opinion about him as a coach because it's not gonna be a good one because the record doesn't suggest you make it a good one. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: that man could call a damn offensive game, and the proof is in the pudding. He can call an offensive game, and he was a damn good offensive coach. And hindsight 2020, I wish he would have just stayed as offensive coordinator and not the head coach, because that team was freaking going somewhere. And we were in that him coming to head coach stopped the momentum. It stopped the momentum. If he would have been OC and we would have kept Brooks as head coach for another couple of years, dude, there ain't no telling where we could have been. When he gave up those call-ins and he gave it to what's his name, dude, the offense was not the same. The same freaking coach in the building, another guy called the plays. The next season, it was not the same.
Yeah. You say, it's funny you say, I wish he would have stayed coordinator and not became the head coach. Everything would have been fine. What do you think about Bill Curry and Hal Mummy? Same deal?
Dude.
Hold on. I ain't done yet, man. Hold on. I'm setting you up for failure.
Damn.
When things started going bad for Stoops, what did Stoops do? His first 2 years, took over the defense.
Yep.
Basically coordinated. Some people, like you said, some people are better coordinated. I mean, Stoops is making the best of it because I don't know if he's adaptable. He don't seem adaptable, but shit, he damn sure is doing a damn good job at what he's doing, man.
Stu's teasing us, man. Stu teasing us, man. He teasing us, man. He trolling. Stu trolling, man. He trolling right now.
Is he
coming at 9 o'clock and trolling?
Is he coming in the studio or is he just coming on live?
Oh.
Bring him in the studio. That way I can look right at him.
All right.
Look into the windows of his soul.
I can feel that.
Yes, indeed.
Oh man, he trolling, man. He trolling.
Hey, before I push the button, you know my vision bad. I thought that said block me. I would say, you damn right. I'm gonna block him. Yeah, he'd come on. No, he been wanting to come on. He had to wait till the season was off so that it wouldn't be none of that. But he know ain't no questions off limits, man.
Let's get it in, man.
We done talked about them backers a whole bunch, man. We done, they asked about Vito. We talk about the offense a lot. We ain't getting no answers. Do we know anything? Do we know anything different about the quarterback or the receivers right now?
This is what I can say about the receivers, and I said this last year consistently. Getting Wan'Dale puts everybody in their right role. That to me is what it is. Ali is not a number one, but he's a damn good probably number 2. And now all the attention is going to be on Wan'Dale. Now he's going to get that single coverage that he didn't get last year because teams knew that he was our only receiver. So just Wan'Dale being on the field makes Josh that much better. Just him being on the field.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope so. Well, man, so this is the last tweet we gonna leave with. Book me. But he said next Thursday. Okay.
Next Thursday, this Thursday. See, I thought he said this Thursday. No, I'm just there. I don't know.
Okay. I thought it said next Thursday, but he might have meant Thursday.
He said I'm coming on Thursday. He said I'm coming on
next
Thursday.
Week. What's that say?
Okay. You're right. All right. You're right. All right.
So
let's make that happen then.
Hold on.
What?
Follow up. We got confirmation. Okay. That's the show then. So that's what
look, you ain't gotta come out with no outline, nothing. We just shooting from the hip on Thursday. We just shooting from the hip on Thursday. We ain't coming with no plan, no nothing.
We don't need one.
No.
We're gonna ask some questions. We're gonna get answers. Ask some questions, get answers. All right, man. We got a lot of rain up here this way, man. You know, so I'm gonna sleep like a baby with a size 12 foot. I'm gonna sleep good tonight, man. It's been raining all day. And plus, man, I really appreciate, you know, you getting Justin to join us, man. Real neat dude, man. Real neat dude. So,
and he didn't give us all the info. We only had him for 30 minutes, dude. He didn't give us all the tea. He gave us one of those England little cup of tea where they get the little shot glass of tea. We're gonna get him a McDonald's extra large cup of sweet tea next time.
Oh, he ain't hold back too much, though. He ain't hold back too much. So he did. Okay. I ain't want to dig into him. I ain't want to dig into his soul.
Right. But we gotta ease him into it so he can come on again.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But man, them dudes had me on there. But I appreciate how he went into the coach who said that if you Kentucky recruiting, and also appreciate how he went into the whole details about T. Martin being on the staff. So hey, I'm telling you, there's some stuff to that. It wasn't the whole drop. But if you listen to what he said, yeah.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cobb. Thank you. All right, bro. So we're gonna come back Tuesday, man. We got Big Stu. We got Big Stu in the hot seat.
Man, hey, man, this gonna be back to we done put on a good 3 weeks of some must-see TV, man.
Yeah. Now we just gotta. I don't know. I don't really want to be paid because I think that'll take the drive out of it.
Yeah, nah.
Like Jordan talking about your first contract when he said when they game, man, you had to work to get you like Scotty did.
Right.
They said they paying these dudes, so they paying these dudes off the top. Now they ain't got no reason to come in with nothing.
Facts.
So, but
hey, YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. All you gotta do is go to YouTube, search Locker 411, hit the subscribe button. Just hit the subscribe button. It's for free. It ain't gonna do nothing to you. It's not gonna shock you. It's not gonna send you some spam email. Just hit the subscribe. And while you at it, hit the like of all our shows. Just go through the show. Just hit like. There's a thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up. And while you at it, since you there, just click on one of the shows. Just turn it on mute. Just let it play through. That's all you gotta do. Just let it play through.
Yeah. Oh, another thing.
Listen, you can turn the mute button off though. Now I'm just saying.
Go and follow and subscribe to some of our guests, man. Inbox me if you didn't like some of the guests we had on. You can inbox me and tell us what you didn't like. But most of the guests we've had on here, man, go follow and subscribe and like them. The reason they on here is because we like what they do and we kind of share the same interests. So
facts.
Yeah, go and like the other people that we also have on here. Go like their shows, subscribe. All right, man. So we got the big homie Stu on Thursday, man.
What? I don't know what I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come wearing a jersey or something. I'm gonna come wear that Peach Bowl jersey. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Wear your fedora, man. Dress up, man. Dress up your Fridays, Thursdays finest.
Yeah.
All All right, man. We'll be
All
back
right,
on Thursday with Big Stu. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.